Hello YouTube. This is actually my first video on pipe smoking. It's kind of a special occasion because I have here Eileen's Dream, and this is a tobacco that has become nearly mythic to me in just a few short weeks. I first heard about this from Mutton Chop Piper. It's his favorite aromatic blend, and I've heard from many other people it's just fantastic. I could not find it anywhere. It's a common brand. You can get this brand of product all over the place at all kinds of stores, not just, tobacco shops. But I don't know, for some reason this particular, I even found the cigar, and the cigar tastes amazing. So I cannot wait to see what this tastes like. Finally found it. I just scoured Google, going through one tobacco, reseller after another, or reseller, tobacco, online tobacco shop after another, and looking for it. Oh my god. Just cracking the tin. Whoo! Wow. Wow. Okay, so I spent 10 years smoking, cheap drugstore aromatic OTC stuff. Recently I've been getting into Englishes, and I've noticed that all my old aromatics I used to smoke really pale in comparison to the English stuff, obviously. And I don't know, I've tried a few aromatics that some people have liked. I'm really getting like an overload of that chemical sweetness, but it doesn't seem to mesh too well with the flavor of the tobacco, or maybe the tobacco itself. And a lot of these aromatics is just not very high quality. For whatever reason, I've always liked aromatics, and I'd like to still be able to smoke both English and aromatic. Not that those are like only two kinds of tobaccos, and if there's any kind of, there are aromatic Englishes and crossovers, but when I say aromatic, what I really mean is heavy aromatics with casings as opposed to natural flavors. And I'd like to still, enjoy flavors like that. So this is going to be my first time trying this, and we're going to see if the hype is lived up to. I can't tell you how excited I am. I don't even know how to express it. Can't you tell? Okay. Oh my goodness. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up my fancy Dr. Grabow. This is a this is a drugstore, Walgreens or whatever, rusticated Dr. Grabow bent, cheapo pipe that I bought like 20 years ago, maybe 18, 19 years ago. And I don't know, it's just, it still smokes like I bought it yesterday. It's just, this thing is a workhorse. It's amazing. I think it cost me maybe 15 bucks, 20 bucks. I don't even remember. And they still make them, and they're identical. They haven't changed one bit. It's hilarious. I don't know. I'm starting to get some nicer pipes these days, but for the longest time I just smoked this one. Why get another one? This one was great. I really wasn't that picky. Okay, so my first impressions. Let me do the tin note, obviously. I keep saying, oh my god, and I don't know if I can find other words to describe it. But there's a really strong vanilla like aroma but it almost feels as if it's melded with the tobacco a little bit better than a lot of the aromatics that I've smelled, where it's almost just like there's this kind of so-so tobacco and then this sugar kind of thrown on top of it. That's not what this smells like. This smells like the tobacco itself is just very sweet, but like unnaturally sweet, obviously. So I don't know. It's very interesting. It smells amazing, but somehow like not quite as overly sweet as I think I expected. Just good, just like really good. Now I would say that it's sticky. It's sticky. I'm still on the fence if I would call this necessarily moist, like overly moist, because it's sticky. I mean, it's moist. It's a bit moist, but I have, I've had aromatics that were more moist and less sticky. So I don't know. This would probably be better to air out for a few minutes, but since I'm gonna do a video first impression here, I'm just gonna go ahead and load it up. I use one of these nifty things from the dollar store. Incidentally, I took a very wide screwdriver and pried it open a bit more right here so that there's more room for the tobacco to slide into it. So if you ever pick one of these up at Dollar Tree, they're very handy, but I would suggest whitening it a bit. So I'm gonna do, this is difficult because you don't get too much out of the gravity gravity fill there because it's so sticky, you know, it just doesn't really fall down too well. It falls down a bit though. I mean, it's all right. It's going in there. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of a light bowl. I'm not super overfilling this. I honestly don't know when I'm gonna be able to find this stuff again. I have it on. I ordered it at yet another online dealer, and it's, you know, back ordered. So at some point, I guess that one will also show up. I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish topping this off. Not too worried about closing up the tin super fast since it's so moist. And that's decently packed. Don't want to sully the flavor, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a match. This is an aromatic. I don't want it to be too harsh. Felt like that charring light didn't take super well because of the stickiness and the moistness. Like most aromatics, I think I would recommend waiting before. Loading up your first bowl. It's going. No, it's not. I lied. I find that when I tamp it, even after the true light, it usually tends to go out, which is annoying because lighting it generally kind of disturbs it. It likes to move around and rise up, especially these um, ribbon type blends, and that's what this is kind of a shag or a ribbon. It's not long ribbon. Actually, there's a lot of big rough pieces in here too. So you might actually want to call this a coarse cut. I don't know. I swear I saw some ribbons in here, but this is more of a coarse cut. I think it was just my imagination running away. So this is really interesting. It doesn't slap you in the face with sweetness. Most aromatics that I've had that people really love are LP6. I have some 1Q on the way, but I haven't tried it yet. The aromatics that you just get at the tobacco shop, the house blends, or I think they probably got a lot of Sutliff stuff, but they don't tell you what it is. It's just kind of called cherry whatever, or those are all very sort of artificially in your face sweet. Keeping a lid's going to be a problem if you don't dry it out a bit. You're not going to get too much flavor when you're drawing on it too heavy, burning it too hot. But it's just so subtle. I think I expected it to be more of a kind of Irish cream, in your face sort of flavor, and it's not at all. It's subtle, and you have to get it down to a cool smoke. But the flavor is just enough to kind of make you crave more of it. And it's good. When you get the flavor, it's really good. I see Carl Holt just popped up on Twitter saying, "Hey, be sure to let me know how it is." Hey, Carl. Yeah, it's the flavor is there. It's really not the overpowering sweet flavor that I thought it would be, and I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. I don't think it is a bad thing. I think that's probably a good thing. I am starting to kind of have a crisis of faith in aromatics because I'm digging the complex, amazing mouth explosion kind of flavors that you get in a really interesting English. I'm really digging Perique. I'm really digging Latakia. I'm digging really, I guess what a lot of people would call harsh blends. Just finding so much to love about them, though, so much flavor and so much complexity. And then when you get back down to an aromatic, it's like you have a one note, kind of thing. It's not as exciting. I remember thinking, well, yeah, a lot of people seem to be really down on aromatics, and I thought I would never be that guy because I like sweets, and I've always loved vanilla tobacco, but this is hard to love quite like a really tasty English. But in my first few minutes of my first impression here, one thing I'm noticing is that the flavor is so subtle that you just kind of feel like you're just puffing on a burley or something. I'm assuming that's what's in here. And you're not thinking too much about the flavor. And you get it down to a cool smoke, and the flavor just creeps up behind you. And it's sweet. And it almost tastes like you're smoking a regular burley and you're kind of drinking an Irish cream or some kind of like really sweet cream latte that's just sort of stuck on your palate and melding with the tobacco. And the more that I kind of sip it, the more I enjoy that kind of back of the mouth sort of sweet Irish cream flavor coming through. Yeah. I don't know if I can say I love aromatics anymore the way I used to. But as aromatics go, I'd say I do love this one. It's going to be really interesting to put this against Lane 1Q, because I'll tell you, next to RLP6, I mean, it blows it away, because when I smoke some of those, like RLP6, I get this like blast of chemically oversweet, flavor that almost it's like it almost wants to give me a headache. It's hard to explain, but it feels like I'm just being blasted in the face with some kind of not potpourri, like some kind of air freshener, scent that's or chemical additive flavor that you just kind of put in there, and it's so strong, and it doesn't meld and dance with tobacco. It just kind of hits you in the face while you're trying to smoke, and then the tobacco underneath is not all that exciting or flavorful either. So it's kind of you just sort of you get the shaft. This is different. In the case of the Eileen's Dream, I feel like this is really, really subtly easing in there and giving me this really, really this flavor I can savor. I keep wanting to say savor, but I don't mean savory, obviously. It's sweet, but I just want to savor it. And as I sip the smoke slowly and coolly, I'm savoring, every bit of it, and it's really a completely different experience than most of the aromatics. So I can really see why people love this. And I'll tell you what else, the room note is amazing. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off since I'm almost at 20 minutes. But I want to wish you a happy and tasty smoke, and I hope that it reminds you to slow down and taste life. Thanks. So, I had a little extra time with this. Something that really surprised me.
almost as soon as I shut off the video, in fact, I realized there's a subtle sweetness in the tobacco that's unmistakably Virginian. I guess I think I'm just kind of used to heavy aromatics often being burley. I don't know why that is. Maybe burley is cheaper. I don't know. But I should have looked this up before I started the video, and I apologize. Because this is not a burley at all. It's Virginia with black Cavendish. And once I got past that initial wave of sweetness that it gives you, I really started to taste this very distinct Virginia sweetness coming through, and it was amazing because it's like melding with the casing, and I think it has a lot to do with why this blend is a little different. You know, I could be wrong, but I believe there's some tobacco or some cigar leaf in here as well. That would explain some of the tartness. There are a lot of flavors to enjoy here. There's a lot of, you really need to take time and savor it and kind of get through the different flavors. I think that the Virginia develops as you smoke it, but I mean, this is a first impression. I don't know. That's my first impression. That you get this very subtle sweet flavor early on, and then as you smoke, the sweetness of the Virginias, the kind of the hay comes through, and it's all subtle, you know, because it's all these different things working together. It's really interesting though. I'm really liking this. I can really see this becoming a favorite. I mean, it's already, I would say, one of the best aromatics I've ever smoked. Anyway, I'm going to keep smoking it, and I'm going to give a more detailed review down the line. But I just wanted to correct myself. This is not a burley. This is a sweet, very tasty Virginia. You might have to smoke it for a few minutes to let the Virginia, you know, develop, but it's there and it's really good. Now I'm letting you go for real.